Alright, Mason, when we get done here today, you're going to go into your Shack Tech mod folder. And inside that folder, it's going to be a PVO that says stgui.pvo. You're going to delete that PVO as soon as we're done here today. If it's still on there tomorrow, you will be recycled back to day 1 of OSUT. Is that understood?
That's understood, First Sergeant.
Alright, no major problems. So, we're going to get this started. Alright. Obviously, my name is First Sergeant Brewer. You can address me as First Sergeant Brewer or simply First Sergeant, nothing more, nothing less. You will sometimes hear guys refer to me as Top. You guys have not yet earned that right. Now, throughout your time here in OSUT, we're going to take you through 4 days of training. Each day is going to be building upon what you learned the days previous, ultimately culminating in your Day 4 FTX, your field training exercise, where you will put everything that we have taught you to use out there in the field in a live exercise. After that exercise, we will then consolidate, debrief, and critique your performance. Once we are done with that, we will then move on to an oral quiz, where you will be tested on knowledge that was given to you. Now, throughout all 4 days, you are allowed to take notes, and you are allowed to use those notes on said quiz. However, should you fail that quiz, you will be rolled back to day 1 of OSUT. Does everyone understand this?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Now, I will tell you this. I guarantee you if you take notes, it is going to be pretty much impossible for you to fail that quiz. Now, as I said, each day you're going to be learning something new. There are fundamental skills to being an infantry trooper. That is shoot, move, communicate, survive, and sustain. Today we're going to teach you how to shoot and communicate. They are two of the most important things we do, especially communication. Without communication and the radio protocols and techniques that we use, we would not be able to do what it is we do, especially on this large of a scale. So you will very quickly find out communication is both incredibly important and incredibly vital to what we do. Now today we're going to be firstly heading into the classroom. When we get to the classroom, before you guys step foot in there, you are going to stop, open your inventory, and stow your cover. That means you're going to take your fucking hat off and put it in your uniform. Once we get inside, you're going to look to your left. There's going to be some boxes underneath the cargo net. You're going to go through those boxes. You're going to grab out one AMPRC 152 short-range radio. Once you have your radio, you're going to move up to the front of the class and fill in the seats from the front to the back. Does everyone understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Now, if at any point in time, throughout any day of OSUT, if you have a question, you will put a Q inside chat just like that. If you have a comment, you will put a C inside chat just like that. Now, if I ask a broad question to the group, anyone can answer. You do not need to throw a C in there. Just pipe up and fucking answer. If I ask you an individual question, I expect a response. If I ask a group question, as in, are you guys understanding? Are you tracking? So on, so forth. I expect a response from all of you. A simple affirm, yes, First Sergeant, so on, that's fine. But I expect a response from all of you. If at any point in time you do not understand something that is being explained to you, speak the fuck up. The old adage is true. There is no the only stupid question is the one that is not asked. If you do not understand something, make us aware. We cannot teach you if you don't let us know that you're not understanding something. We use a very, very simple method here. Right? We explain, demonstrate, and then you guys do it. Very simple. Crawl, walk, run. So again, at any point in time you do not understand something, speak the fuck up. Does everyone understand that?
Yes,
Yes,
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright. So as I said, first thing we're going to do is head into the classroom. So I want you guys to follow me in a file from your left. Follow me. Alright, first thing we're going to be going over, as I said, is communication. Now, the main part of our communication is being able to speak on the radio. Now, for us, talking on the radio is something not only that we take very seriously, but we're very strict on it as far as the verbiage and so on that you use. Reason for that being, clear, concise communications is vital to what we do. Now, the first thing we're going to be going over is some phonetics, as well as some procedure words and phrases, or pro words. So, first part with phonetics. Phonetic numerals. Phonetic numerals are very simple. They're all pretty much the exact same as your normal everyday numerals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, with exception to 3 numbers. Those numbers are 3, 5, and 9. 3 pronounced phonetically is tree, like the thing with fucking leaves on it. 5 is pronounced fife, F-I-F-E. 9 is pronounced niner. Everybody knows that one. Now, phonetic numerals are not used all the time, right? Phonetic numerals are something that are used when potentially it is not going to be clear what number you're saying, or if someone asks you to read back or to say again something that you have said with those numerals in it. In that situation, then you would use phonetics. All right, so for example, to say 359 phonetically would be 359er. All right, very simple. Now, when it comes to the phonetic alphabet, we use the NATO phonetic alphabet. NATO phonetic alphabet is pretty goddamn simple. Most of you have probably heard most of the letters from the NATO phonetic alphabet. That is Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, so on and so forth. I'm not going through all 26 fucking letters. It's in your student document. Again, we only use the NATO phonetic alphabet. None of the silly fucking civilian boy, Charlie, David shit. Now, the next part, when it comes to pro words or procedure words, pro words are essentially a way for us to practice brevity. Brevity is very plainly to say a lot without saying a lot. Right? It is a way to pass along a large amount of information while saying as few words as possible. So, pro words, very important to us, because the quicker you can pass along that information and get off of the radio, the better, because there's generally other people that need to talk on the fucking radio. So the first pro word we're going to go over is break. Break means I hereby indicate separation of this text from the rest of the message. Essentially, break is a period in a sentence. Okay? So if you're sending a long message and you need to stop and take a breath, you would send the first part of your message, say break, let go of your transmit button, rekey your transmit button, and then continue on with the rest of your message. All right? That is very important to remember, to release your transmit button, take a fucking breath, and then start transmitting again. It defeats the fucking purpose of saying break if you just continue talking immediately after you say break. Next, Corporal Patty.
Thank you, Top. Are you currently in yelling?
I am now. I'm going to assume that you guys were fucking hearing me. If you were not, speak up now. All right. So, next is break in succession of 3. All right, so break, break, break. Someone comes over to radio net saying break, break, break. That means break all communications on that radio frequency. All right, that is a way for you to break into a radio frequency and pass along vital information. So generally, you will hear it come across as break, 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 emergency traffic, or break, 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 priority traffic. Now, there is a difference between priority traffic and emergency traffic. Priority traffic is higher priority than what is currently going across that net. So if someone is getting a ACE report, which is something we'll go over on another day, and you have an important information about enemy troop movement, then you would say break, 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 priority traffic. Emergency traffic is the highest order of traffic. So if someone is giving a move order of enemy troops and you have a main battle tank roll up on your nutsack, you're going to say break, 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 emergency traffic. At which point, everyone will shut the fuck up and listen to what you're saying, which goes for any instance where you use break, break, break. If someone comes across a radio freak and says break, 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 if you're talking, it means shut the fuck up and listen to what they're about to say. Pretty simple. Next one is correction. Correction means an error has been made in this transmission. Transmission will continue with the last word correctly sent. All right, so if you're sending a message on the radio and you fuck something up, say you give the wrong grid coordinate, do not fumble fuck over your words and say, just say correction, go back to where you were last correct, and carry on with your transmission. Next one is disregard. Disregard is exactly as it sounds. You disregard it. You act as if you never heard it. Very, very simple. Next one is read back. Read back is used as both a command and a response. Okay, so if I were to give you a grid coordinate, say 160168, and say at the end of my message, read back, that is telling you to read back all of the message that I just sent you. All right, so if I simply told you grid 160168, read back, you would then respond with, I read back grid 160168. Okay, again, command given and a response. Next one is say again. Also, command given and a response. The say again is to simply repeat whatever was just said. So if you send a message to me and I respond to you with say again, you would then respond back to me with I say again and repeat the entirety of your transmission. Now, say again can also be used in conjunction with all before or all after. So if I caught the first half of your message and I said say again all after and told you a certain word, then you would say back to me everything after that word. Now you may wonder, why is it we say again instead of simply telling someone to repeat themselves? Very simple reason for that. Repeat is a pro word used for fire missions and CAS calls. CAS is close air support. So when someone says repeat in relation to fire missions, it is telling them to repeat the same fire mission that they just did. Now, as common sense would tell you, as it's close air support, if they repeat the last fire mission they just did, considering the entirety of our unit is based upon fire and maneuver, we may have maneuvered into the area that they just hit with a fire mission. So if some happy asshat were to say repeat on the radio, and that somehow gets misconstrued all the way the fuck up to the guys in the air, and they repeat their fire mission and drop a fucking 2,000-pound GBU on friendly forces because your jackass said repeat, it could be an issue. So that is why we use say again. Do not ever say repeat. Ever. And I will tell you now, throughout your time here in OSUT, I hear you say that word, I will immediately drop a mortar on your nutsack. Is that understood?
Yes, First
Yes,
Sergeant.
First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. Next one we're going to cover is over. Over means this is the end of my transmission and a response is necessary. Go ahead and transmit. All right, so that is a way for you to end a transmission seeking a response. Very simple. So if someone says over to you, they need you to respond. Out, which is the next one, means this is the end of my transmission to you and a response is not necessary or expected. All right, so if they do not want a response from you, if that conversation is over, as in done, they will say out. If they say over, it means they need a response. Is everybody tracking on that?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right, so over means something completely different than out. So do not ever say over and out on the radio. It is made up Hollywood bullshit. You look like a fucking idiot. No one says over and out on the radio. Again, they mean two completely different things. Over means I need a response. Out means I do not. Now, where this gets used the most, obviously talking back and forth on the radio, if you are not the initiating calling station, okay, think of it like a phone call. If you are not the guy that started the phone call, you just continuously say over at the end of your transmissions until that conversation is done. Because the initiating calling station is the one who will out the receiving station. All right? So if I call you on the radio, you just keep saying over until I finish the conversation by saying out. You do not out someone that calls you. The only time it is acceptable to out someone is if there's a emergency traffic or emergency situation going on, meaning you just got engaged by danger close guys and you need to get the fuck off the radio immediately. Or B, if it is a higher element, right? Higher element being a command element. So if you call me on the radio, and me being a command element, you call me and I have other radio nets that I have to talk on, and I have priority traffic come in on a different net, I will out you and end our conversation prematurely and go carry on with what business I need to take care of. It doesn't matter that you called me. I'm a command element. I will out you if need be. All right, next one we're going to go over is Roger. Roger simply means I have received your last transmission satisfactorily. All right, means I heard you. That is it. It is not a confirmation of an order given. It is not anything else. It just means I have heard you. Next one we'll go over is Wilco. Wilco stands for will comply. It is a response to an order given. All right, so if I give you an order to move to a certain position, you respond with Wilco, will comply. If I pass along important information, then you would respond with Roger. Because you are not responding to an order given, you're simply acknowledging that you have received that information. All right, so Roger means something completely different from Wilco. So don't ever say Roger Wilco on the fucking radio. You look like an idiot. Last one we're going to go over is affirm, right? Short for affirmative. It is a response to an inquiry of information. It is not a fucking response to an order given. It is not an acknowledgement of receiving information. All right, so affirm means something completely different from Roger, which means something completely different from Wilco. If someone asks you a question and what you are to respond with a positive or a yes, then you would respond with affirm. If it's a no, you would respond with negative. You do not respond to an order given with affirm. That is a very quick way to piss someone off. And actually the last one we'll go over is that of interrogative. You've probably heard that term a couple times, may not even know what the fuck it means. Interrogative is a request for information. All right, so if I were to call you on the radio and I precede my radio message with interrogative, as soon as you hear interrogative, you now know I am about to request information from you. Very, very simple. All right. Now you may wonder, why in the fuck don't we just say, hey, I have a question? Well, interrogative is a lot quicker to say than, hey, I have a question. Again, brevity is important. Now, anybody have any questions on the pro words that we just went over?
No, First Sergeant.
All right, one of you got it. If you don't have a question, the answer is fucking no. Private Reynolds.
Yes, for Sergeant. Question, do we ever use the term flash? You mentioned break, but as I recall, from what I've heard, flash is also a transmission interrupter.
Nope, we just use break for it.
Thank you, First Sergeant.
Flash is more so something used on higher nets, especially when you're operating with radio operators, which we don't really have. We have 3 radio operators that are the 3 platoon RTOs, but they don't act in a normal RTO sense, in which most people are used to. All right. So the next thing we're going to go over is how to actually format a radio message. Now, one of the things that is incredibly important for us is how you format the start of a message. Now that I'm sitting here staring at you guys, Mason, considering your chin looks like the bottom of my nutsack, when you show up here tomorrow, I expect you to have a clean-shaved face. Make sure you change it.
Yes, sir,
Now,
Sergeant.
when we start a radio transmission, I want you guys to memorize a phrase. That phrase is, "Hey you, this is me." Again, "Hey you, this is me." Memorize that phrase, because that is how you're going to start every fucking radio transmission. Now, the "Hey you, this is me" part, that's our names, essentially. You insert our names in those positions. So, where a lot of people get confused that don't have experience in shit like this, we do not have call signs, okay? Technically, the call sign of the entirety of Alpha Company is Havoc. That's the call sign of ACO First 506. All right. Calling stations are our names. Okay, so a calling station is completely different from a call sign. My calling station is Havoc 7. I am the only Havoc 7 in the entirety of the unit. If anybody says Havoc 7 on the radio, I am the only person they can possibly be talking to. Corporal Patty, what is your calling station?
First Sergeant, my calling station is 2-4 Charlie.
2-4 Charlie. So if someone says 2-4 Charlie on the radio, Corporal Patty's the only guy they're going to be talking to. All right? So, to use that phrase, "Hey you, this is me." If I were calling Corporal Patty on the radio, I would say on the radio, 2-4 Charlie, this is Havoc 7. "Hey you, this is me." All right, so now, as Corporal Patty was listening to the radio, and he hears 2-4 Charlie, he now knows that person is talking to him. When I say Havoc 7, he now knows it's me talking to him. Now you know both parties involved in that conversation, and you can continue on with your message. All right, so to properly call someone on the radio, "Hey you, this is me." Again, if I were calling Corporal Patty, for instance, I would say, "Havoc 2-4 Charlie, this is Havoc 7, over." And wait. All right, I said over at the end of my message because I need a response. The reason I need a response is because we work on a call and response system. I called him. Now I wait for him to respond. You do not call someone on the radio and just immediately start running your cock holster. It defeats the fucking purpose. For all you know, they're in the middle of one hellacious firefight, or they're dick in the dirt knocked out, and they're not going to hear anything you say anyways. So you call them and wait. They will then respond. Corporal Patty would respond back to me, "Havoc 7, this is Havoc 2-4 Charlie, send traffic, over." And then I would send my radio transmission. All right, everybody tracking?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
All right. Next thing we're going to go over is how to do a radio check. Radio checks are incredibly important for us, and it's something you're going to get a lot of practice doing, because we do one every single time we get into a server. Once you get into a server, you'll get your gear, get set up and start doing your PCCs, your pre-combat checks, making sure you got all your PPE, which is personal protection equipment, eye pro, ear pro, so on. Get all your buddy teams set up and everything, and then you'll do your radio checks. Now, your radio check is a very simple format. Okay? You still use "Hey you, this is me." All right? However, majority of the time on the radio, You don't know who is on that net yet. All right. When we say net, we're referring to a radio frequency. So you don't know who's on that net yet. So you can't call a specific calling station. So that is why you will hear guys say any station this net. So that's calling to all calling stations on that radio frequency. So they'll say any station this net, this is, and then their name or their calling station. Right? Because at a fire team level, you guys just use your names. There is no calling station for you at a fire team level. But from a fire team leader and above, everybody has a calling station. So, again, at a fire team level, you just use your name. So, any station that's net, this is so-and-so radio check, and then you say the frequency and over. All right, so any station that's net, this is so-and-so radio check, frequency 123 over. And then you wait for a response. When someone responds to you, they will respond to you with the strength and readability of your transmission. So they will respond back with either Lima Charlie, which is phonetics for LC, loud and clear, or they'll use the numerical value system of 1x5 to 5x5. 5x5 meaning loud and clear, 1x5 meaning broken and unreadable. So they would respond back to you, so-and-so, this is such and such station, read you Lima Charlie on frequency 123 over. All right, so they say back to you or read back to you the frequency that you said to them so that you know for sure you did that radio check on the correct frequency. And then they say over, because they are not the initiating calling station. You are. So because they said over, that means you need to respond back and close out that conversation. So you then respond back with how you read them. So you would simply respond back, solid copy, out. All right, very, very simple. So again, to take you through it from the start, any station this net, this is so-and-so, radio check, frequency 123 over. Respond back, so-and-so, this is so-and-so, read you, Lima Charlie, frequency 123 over. Respond back, solid copy, out. That is it. That is the end of your radio check. Very, very simple, can be done in a matter of seconds. Is everybody tracking on that?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right. Now, one very important thing when it comes to radio checks, at least for my sanity and the sanctity of your fucking ass not meeting my boot. When you do a radio check, you do not say how copy at the end of your fucking radio check. It is redundant. The pro word of radio check is already asking for the strength and readability of your transmission. Saying how copy is redundant and fucking annoying, so don't do it. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right. Now I'm going to take you guys through and show you how to actually set up your radio. So I want you to hold Control and press P as in Papa on your keyboard. That should open you up your ANPRC 152. Does everybody see that big green radio on the left-hand side of their screen?
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
No, for Sergeant.
Who said, no?
Reynolds for Sergeant.
Reynolds, what part of the instruction at the start of this class when I told you to look to your left and grab the radio out of the set of boxes under the cargo net did you not understand?
For Sergeant, I grabbed it. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Is it in your inventory?
Negative.
Go get another one.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. Ready for Sergeant.
All right. I'm going to take you guys through what each button on this radio does, starting from the top, working our way down. So at the top, the middle stalk with the numbers on it, that is your volume control. Right-click it, it increases volume. Left-click it, decreases volume. I personally generally leave mine right at default, which is 80. Loud enough to fucking hear over a firefight, but not so loud it's going to rape your goddamn eardrums. Moving down from there, you have the display. That display will give you two pieces of information. It will tell you the current channel and the current frequency. A channel and a frequency are two different things. All right, so right now it'll say C1 and a random series of numbers. That C1 is denoting channel 1. A random series of numbers is what frequency that channel is tuned to. Moving down from there, top right corner, you have the CLR button, or the clear frequency. Directly beneath that, you have the ENT, or enter button. That is to set a frequency. Directly beneath that, you have the PRE plus and minus. That is how you change channels. PRE plus goes up a channel, PRE minus goes down a channel. Alternatively, you can use the numbers on your number pad to change channels quickly. Next to that, along the bottom row, you have that right facing arrow. That right facing arrow sets a radio to speakers. Do not ever set your short range radio to speakers. Very simple reason for that. If you set your short range radio to speakers, anytime someone transmits on that radio frequency, it will be broadcast to everyone around you. And 90% of the time, it causes a fuck ton of feedback. And those of us wearing headsets will want to rip your goddamn head off. So again, don't ever set your radio to speakers. Next, you have the left-facing arrow. That left-facing arrow is how you will set an additional channel. That is used to monitor and speak on two different radio channels on one radio. Incredibly handy for those of us in leadership positions. Everyone from a fire team leader and above monitors multiple radio nets at the same time. At a fire team level, you only have to deal with the one though. Lastly, at the bottom left, you have the 0 key or the stereo settings key. That makes it so that a channel is heard through only one ear. Again, incredibly important for those of us that monitor multiple nets. Now all the stuff in the middle, in the field of buttons there, doesn't do dick, so don't worry about it. So, what we're going to do is take you guys through and actually program your radio. Now this is something that you will do, again, for every single operation. Every single fire team, squad, platoon, so on, have their own radio frequencies that they use. And it is the same frequency every single time. So once you get placed into a fire team, every time you go into an operation with that fire team, you will use the exact same radio frequency. So, up on that display, if you take your mouse, click and drag across that random series of numbers, or simply hit the CLR button, you can clear out that frequency. Once that frequency is clear, you'll notice a little line sitting there blinking. You are now going to type in 100.1. Once you have 100.1 typed in there, click the ENT button to set that frequency. And get in the habit of calling numerals individually. It is not radio frequency 100.1. It is 100.1. And once you have 100.1 set as your frequency, I want you to go down to the very bottom left of that stereo settings button and click that once. You should see it pop up in the bottom corner of your screen and say left ear only. And once you have done that, I want you to hit the PRE plus button once, or hit the number 2 on your number pad and go to channel 2. So it'll say C2 in a random series of numbers. You are now going to clear out channel 2's frequency. And in its place, you are going to put in frequency 100. Once you have 100 in the display, hit ENT and set that frequency. Once that frequency is set, I want you to go to that left-facing arrow, the set additional channel, and click that once. It will change that from Charlie 2 to A2 or Alpha 2. That will be your additional channel. Once it says A2 100, I then want you to go to that stereo settings button in the very bottom left and click that twice. So it says right ear only. Once you have done that, I want you to hit the PRE minus or the number 1 on your number pad and go back to channel 1. This is incredibly important. Anytime you set up an additional channel, you need to go back to your primary channel when you are done. If you do not, you will not be able to hear it. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Sergeant.
So right now, all of you should hear me speaking to you in your left ear, correct?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Now all of you should hear me speaking to you in your right ear, correct?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes,
Yes,
First
First
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
All right, congratulations. You guys now know how to set up a radio properly. Now what you guys are going to do next is you're each actually going to go through and do a radio check. Now the way this is going to work, you are going to do your radio checks from right to left, front row to back. So Talbot is going to start. He's going to do his radio check. The guy responding to him is going to be the person sitting to his left. So that's going to be Reynolds. So Talbot's going to do his radio check. Reynolds is going to respond back with Lima Charlie or however the fuck it is he reads them. And keep on going down the line and then jump back to the back. And you two in the back are going to do it. Once the last guy is going, Talbot's going to be the one responding. You're going to cycle back to the start. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
First Sergeant.
All right. Now we're going to keep doing this until you guys get it fucking correct. So if I stop you in the middle of your radio check, you'll have to restart it. All right. Talbot, you're going to start it off. On your own time, do a radio check on 100.1.
Question first.
Yep.
So when you said at the fire team level we use names, so would I just refer to him as Reynolds? So like
Yep.
Reynolds, this is Talbot.
Yep, exactly. And very quickly, apologies. In order to actually transmit on your primary net, the default hotkey is to hold down caps lock. Do not start hitting it down. I do not need to hear your fucking radio squawking in my ear. The default key to transmit on your additional net is Tango. Now this is very fucking important. If you are talking on one net and you go to change to the other net and start talking, you need to give it a couple seconds for TFAR to close one frequency and open the other one. All right, so what that means is, if you're talking on caps lock and you go to respond on a different frequency to someone else and go to hit Tango, you have to give it a few seconds from the time you release caps lock to the time you depress Tango. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. Lastly, when you go to transmit on the radio, you'll hit caps lock, wait a hot second, and then start transmitting. When you're done talking, wait a second, and then release the key. All right? You do not ever want to fucking just immediately start talking as soon as you hit the button and let off the button as soon as you're done talking. Because there's a possibility you're going to cut off either the start or the end of your transmission. And there is very few things that is more annoying on the radio than some fucking asshat that keeps cutting off the end of his transmission. All right, so now, Talbot, when you're ready, go ahead and start your radio check.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Reynolds, this is Talbot. Radio check, frequency 100.1.
Try that again. What are you supposed to say at the end of your transmission when you need a response?
Sorry, First Sergeant. Left out the over.
I am not a sorry first sergeant.
Oh.
Let's try that again.
Reynolds, this is Talbot. Radio check, frequency 100.1. Over.
Talbot, this is Reynolds. Read you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Solid copy. Out.
Perfect. Reynolds, keep it going.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. Coleman, this is Reynolds. Radio check, frequency 100.1. Over.
Reynolds, this is Coleman. Copy. Over.
Nope. Remember, you respond back with Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1, or 5x5, frequency 100.1, so on. You read back to them the frequency that they just transmitted on. Let's try that again. Reynolds, start it off.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. Coleman, this is Reynolds. Radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Reynolds, this is Lima Charlie. Radio check 1001. Over.
All right, let's try that again. Coleman, your name is not Lima Charlie. All right, calm the fuck down. This is not your fucking college finals. All right, take a breath. Get your fucking zen on. Try it again. Reynolds, from the top.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. Coleman, this is Reynolds. Now I'm messing up. Coleman, this is Reynolds. A radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Reynolds,
this is Coleman.
This is Coleman. Radio check 1001.
Nope.
Fuck.
You're not doing a radio check. He's doing a radio check. You're reading him. All right, so Reynolds, this is Coleman. Read you Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1. All right, remember, you're reading him. You're not doing a radio check until he's done. Reynolds, try it again.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. Coleman, this is Reynolds. Radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Reynolds, this is Coleman. Reading channel 100.1, over.
You're getting closer.
Coleman, this is Reynolds.
Hold on.
Sorry.
You do not need to say sorry to me on the fucking radio.
Sorry, for Sergeant. For Sergeant, I apologize.
All right, Coleman. Reynolds, this is Coleman. Read you Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1, over.
Copy that,
all right.
Sergeant. Yep.
Reynolds, take it from the top.
Coleman, this is Reynolds. Radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Reynolds, this is Coleman. Reading Lima Charlie, channel 100.1, over.
Solid copy, out.
All right. Remember, Coleman, it's a frequency, not the channel that you're reading them on.
Copy that.
All right, because his channel, 100.1 for him could be fucking channel 6 for all you know. Remember, a channel and a frequency are two different things.
Oh, copy that, Sergeant.
All right, we'll let that one go for now. So, Coleman, you're doing your radio check. Whenever you're ready.
Mason, this is Coleman. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Coleman, this is Mason. Read your Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over. Over.
All right, Coleman, close it out.
Copy that, out.
There you go. All right, Mason.
Marshall, this is Mason. Radio check on frequency 100, over. Decimal 1, over.
Mason, this is Marshall. Read Lima Charlie on 100.1.
What do you say at the end of your transmission? When you are not the initiating station.
Mason, this is Marshall. Read Lima Charlie on 100.1, over.
Solid copy, out.
All right, let's keep it going.
Mock, this is Marshall on frequency 100.1. Radio check, over.
Marshall, this is Mock, reading Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Marshall copies, out.
All right, keep it going.
Talbot, this is Mock, radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Mark, this is Talbot, reading you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Solid copy, out.
All right. And that, gentlemen, is how you do a proper fucking radio check. Sear it into your goddamn brain. I promise you, you will be doing a lot of them. You will eventually get to the point where you can rattle it off very fucking quickly. All right. Now, as I said, these radio checks are incredibly important to us. Right? That allows us to know we have good, clear communication with everybody on that radio frequency. Every single person that is on a radio frequency does a radio check on it. Talbot, question.
Yes, First Sergeant. If someone did reply back that they were not Lima Charlie or 1 by 5, what would be the steps then?
In that case, you need to say again. Firstly, you try saying again the transmission. All right, so you essentially redo your radio check in hopes that it works the second time. If it doesn't work the second time, then at that point, you have some type of fucking clusterfuck going on with your radios, and you need to get it squared away. Now, luckily for us, in game, that never happens. We never have an issue where the radio's battery is fucking dying and it starts losing transmission strength. The only time we really have an issue with unclear radio comms is due to terrain. If we're too far away from someone, or there is terrain features in the way, such as large hills, or we're down in a valley and they're on the other side of a ridge line or stuff like that. And in that situation, the only thing you can do is get closer. Corporal Patty, you had something to comment on that?
Thank you, Top. Gentlemen, when
I did not hear you.
Am I good now, Top?
Yep.
All right. Gentlemen, when someone gives you a 1 by 5 and you're trying to figure out what's going on, try to keep within immersion. Do not start spouting out about TFAR. Most often, what I have noticed is a lot of people will say, check the radios on or check the batteries on your radio, or change your batteries on the radio. That's basically somebody telling you to look at TeamSpeak and figure out what the fuck is going on with your shit. So just try to keep within immersion when working through this stuff, because a lot of people get really pissed off if you start spouting out in meta. Understand?
Yes, Corporal.
Yes, Corporal.
Yes, Corporal.
Yeah, Corporal Patty is correct. As he said, somebody tells you to check your batteries in your radio. Simply means check your TeamSpeak. Look at your ping, look at your packet loss, shit like that. See if, something's going on. If you need to restart your TeamSpeak, which happens quite a bit, there is currently a bug where sometimes you'll start hearing clicks on the radio and you won't hear anybody talk. You'll just hear a click at the start of your transmission. Just simply come over the radio real quick and say, hey, I need to change the batteries in my radio, and just restart your TeamSpeak real quick and get back into the channel. All right, very simple way of letting someone know without, having to say, yeah, I got to restart my TeamSpeak in the middle of a fucking operation. All right, any other questions on any of the shit that we have gone over so far?
No, for Sergeant.
All right, outstanding. All right, what we're going to do next, before we actually head out to the range and get you guys some hands-on, is we're going to go over some weapons familiarization and take you guys over some of the different weapon systems that we use here. Now, one important thing to note that I forgot to mention to you guys at the start. Should you have any military training, understand this. Some of the things we do here, some of the things that we teach here are not going to be in line with the training that you have received. Because, believe it or not, ArmA is not real fucking life. They try to get it pretty goddamn close, but things are always going to be different. So even some of the specifications and so on that we will give you on the weapon systems will be different than what you potentially learned throughout your time in the military. That is because they are based upon what is capable in game, not what the real world weapon system does. Again, they try to get it pretty goddamn close, but it is not always going to be the same. So, first weapon system we're going to cover is the M4 carbine. The M4 is standard issue for all troopers, as well as pretty much everyone with exception to pilots. Now, the M4 is a lightweight gas-operated, air-cooled, magazine-fed shoulder-fire weapon capable of semi-automatic and fully automatic fire. It has a 30-round magazine and a maximum point target range of 500 meters and an area target range of 600 meters. Now, does anybody have a guess as to the difference between a point target and an area target? Reynolds.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. Point target means that you can accurately fire upon somebody within 500 meters. Area target means that you can provide some kind of fire over that range.
Essentially, yes. Point target means you can accurately engage that individual target. Area target means you can suppress the area of that target. Now, this does not mean that the M4 cannot drop a target or kill someone beyond 500 meters. The M4 is lethal well beyond 500 meters. However, it is not as accurate. It also does not mean that you can't engage someone beyond 600 meters. I have seen guys drop a target at 700 meters with an M4. However, it's not advised. It's nowhere near as accurate. But again, it is possible. Okay, the 5.56 cartridge is lethal well fucking beyond 500 meters. But 500 meters is the max effective range. All right, so if you're set up in a position and you eye targets and there's 700 meters out there, don't engage them with an M4. All right, it's essentially a waste of ammo. Close the distance. Preferably close the distance yourself. Don't let them close the distance. Next, we're going to cover the M320 grenade launcher, or UGL, underslung grenade launcher. The M320 is a lightweight, breech-loading 40mm grenade launcher that can be operated in the standalone or attached configuration. We only use the attached configuration. Now, the 320 is carried by all grenadiers, as well as some squad leaders, platoon HQs, and above. Now, you will also see us sometimes use some of us use the older brother to the 320, which is the 203. They're essentially the same weapon system in game. In real world, there's quite a few differences. In game, there's no difference. They use the same ammunition, everything. The only difference is the actual sight on it. The 320 has a sight that is off to the side and ranges out to 350 meters, which is the maximum effective range of the 320, 350 meters. The 203 only ranges to 250 meters. Now, the 320 is what you'll be using in training. And as I said, maximum effective range is 350 meters. Now, again, just like the M4, that doesn't mean you can't or it's not possible of engaging targets beyond 350 meters. I personally hit targets with the 40 mics at 500 meters. But that doesn't mean it's fucking easy or that you're going to be able to do it every time. In order to hit a target beyond 350 meters, you got to start throwing some serious fucking Kentucky windage on it. Now, the 320 is, as well as the 203, are capable of firing a couple of different munitions types. First and foremost, the one that is used the most is HE, high explosive, which is used for infantry. Next, you have HEDP, high explosive dual purpose, which is used for vehicles and bunkers, essentially. Then you have the different smoke rounds. Now, the smoke rounds are pretty goddamn finicky within game. It takes a lot of practice to be accurate with a 40 mic smoke. And when you hear someone say 40 mic, it's referring to a 40mm grenade, mic being phonetic for M. So 40 mic smokes, as I said, very finicky. You can fire one out there 200 meters and it can bounce another 200 meters beyond where you fire it. So it does take a lot of practice to get accurate with one of those. Majority of the time, the only guys really using 40mm smoke is going to be our JTACs to mark enemy targets. Now, they are also capable of firing something known as a Hunt IR round. A Hunt IR round is essentially a 40mm grenade where the nose of it, instead of it being a warhead, is a camera. And it's got a little parachute that comes out of the back of it. Now, those are only carried by platoon HQ and above, because they carry the special device to be able to view the camera. And what'll happen is they'll fire that grenade up into the air, and that parachute will deploy, and that grenade will start slowly floating to the ground, and they can connect that device to the camera in it and look down from that grenade. Right? It's a very good way to get eyes on enemy troops and stuff like that moving somewhat close to you. That being said, if you're out there in the field and you hear the grenade launcher go off, you look up and you see a parachute, don't freak out. It's not the fucking aliens invading. It's not enemy airborne infantry. It's a fucking camera. Don't shoot at it. All right, does everybody understand that?
Yes, for Sergeant.
Reynolds, question.
Is the model of the parachute any different than an infantry parachute?
Say again?
Is the parachute model any different from like an infantry parachute or a paratrooper's parachute?
It's about 100 times smaller because it's on a 40 millimeter grenade, not a 6 foot tall man.
Thank you, for Sergeant.
Now, the last type of munitions that the 320 can fire are illumination rounds, essentially flares. Now, you may think illumination rounds are kind of fucking silly because we all have night vision. True. However, from personal experience in game, I can tell you NVGs don't do dick when the fog is super thick. Illumination is your best friend. All right, so when we're operating at night and we know the weather is going to be bad and it's going to be foggy, you'll catch grenadiers and stuff start loading illumination rounds into their vest because they know they're going to need it. All right, the next weapon system we're going to cover is the M249 Squad Automatic Weapon, or simply the SAW. The M249 is a gas-operated, air-cooled, belt or magazine-fed automatic weapon that fires from the open bolt position with a maximum rate of fire of 850 rounds per minute. It has a maximum area target range of 1,200 meters. Now notice I only said area target range. I did not say point target range. Anybody have a guess as to why the SAW does not have a point target range? Reynolds.
For Sergeant, is it because the SAW is used primarily as a suppressive weapon?
Exactly. SAW is a suppression weapon. Now, it does not mean you can't engage an individual target with it. You engage individual targets all the fucking time. But a SAW, you fire in burst, generally 3 to 5 rounds. And you're going to rake that burst across someone's body. You are not going to tap fire it or whatever other stupid shit you may have learned in CSGO or whatever. Still works the same way here. You fire a SAW in burst. And we'll go over fire rates later on. But generally with the SAW, when you go to engage a target, you're going to aim at their kneecap, let a burst go, and probably drop the motherfucker. Now, does anybody have a guess as to why you aim at their kneecap?
Recoil for Sergeant.
There you go. Rise of the weapon from the recoil. You start at their kneecap, you're going to end at their sternum. Or somewhere thereabouts. Possibly even their collarbone, depending upon how many rounds you let out there and how much control you have over the weapon. But yes, you start at their knees so that the body climbs, or the weapon climbs itself up their body. And you can put that entirety of the burst into them. All right, very simple. At no point in time with an automatic weapon like that, unless it's mounted like a 50 cal on a ring mount, do you ever aim at their center mass or their head. It defeats the fucking purpose because only the first round or two is going to go on target if you're lucky. So you aim low, let the weapon climb up them. Now, I also said that the 249 is belt or magazine fed. The 249 can have a 30-round M4 magazine placed into it. However, as you can guess, 30 rounds don't last very long in a belt-fed machine gun because the SAW does not have select fire capability. It is fully automatic only. So you're going to rip through 30 rounds really goddamn quick. It is used in an emergency situation. If you have no belts left, no one around you has belts, you can grab an M4 from one of the other guys, or an M4 magazine from one of the other guys in your team, stuff it into that SAW, and at least you still got something to fight with. Now, the SAW is carried by all automatic riflemen within the unit. So there are 2 SAW gunners per squad. Next weapon system is the M240 Bravo medium machine gun. Now, the 240 is a belt-fed, air-cooled, gas-operated, fully automatic machine gun that fires from the open bolt position. However, unlike the SAW, which is chambered in the NATO 5.56 round, the 240 is chambered in the NATO 7.62 round and has a maximum area target range of 1,800 meters. So it will reach the fuck out there and touch somebody, which is why I affectionately call it the big black dick of freedom. And when you see one, you will understand why, because it is a good half again bigger than what the SAW is. So 240 Bravo is kind of the bigger, badder, meaner brother to the M249 SAW. Now, the 240 is carried by 11 Bravo machine gunners. It is a crew-served weapon, so there's 2 guys per weapon system. Do not ever confuse an automatic rifleman with an 11 Bravo machine gunner. An AR is simply an 11 Bravo who happens to carry the SAW. An 11 Bravo machine gunner has been specially qualified on that medium machine gun system. It is a completely different system. Next weapon system we're going to go into is the M136 AT4. The AT4 is a lightweight, self-contained SLM designed for use against improved armor and light armor vehicles. Has a maximum effective range of 300 meters. Now, the AT4 is carried by half of the riflemen within the unit. The other half of the riflemen carry the M72 Law. Now, the Law is kind of the little brother to the AT4. However, both of them are similar in the sense that they are disposable launchers. Right? Both the AT4 and the Law, once you fire it, that's it. There is no reloading it. So you touch that thing off, the rocket comes out the tube, you throw the tube on the ground. You're done with it. You're never going to use it again. It is a single-use weapon. Unlike the next weapon system we're going to cover, which is the M3 Carl Gustav, or the Maus. Now, the Maus is essentially the bigger brother to the AT4. Reynolds, question.
Yes, sir, Sergeant. The Law you mentioned, the little brother, does it have a different effective range?
No, the effective range is still 300 meters, but it's what it can engage is less. It can't hit as heavy of armor, and we'll go over what armor they can engage on day 3.
Thank you for Sergeant.
Now, as I said, the Maus is kind of the bigger brother to the AT4. While they're the same diameter of round, 84 millimeter, they're a different size. Okay, this fucks a lot of people up. The Maus fires a bigger round than the AT4. Again, it's the same diameter, but the round from the Maus is bigger. It's longer, essentially. The Maus is a big-ass recoilless rifle, and it can be reloaded, unlike the AT4. So the Maus, or simply the Carl G, that is carried by close combat missile teams within a weapons squad. That's the AT guys. So they use this shit to kill tanks. So again, Maus is much like the AT4, however, it's reloadable and fires a bigger round, so it's capable of hitting heavier armor. Now, the Maus in real life is also capable of firing a couple of different munitions types, including HE and air burst and shit like that. We only use heat, high explosive anti-tank. Same thing for the AT4 and the Law. They are simply AT sticks for us, so we only fire heat rounds. Now, the next weapon system we'll cover, also carried by close combat missile teams, is the FGM-148 Javelin missile system. Now, the reason it's called a Javelin missile system is because the Jav actually consists of 3 different parts. You have the tube, the missile, and the clue. Now, the clue is the command launch unit. That's the actual big sight thing that you'll see guys looking through on the Javelin, the big-ass black plastic-looking thing. The clue is, in real world, operated completely separately from the tube itself. They're carried in separate pieces. Reason for that being, clue is fucking great for identifying targets because it has full thermal capability and so on. So oftentimes, at least in real world, you'll see guys holding up just the clue, spotting targets with the FLIR. For us, in ArmA, you can't separate them. When you see a guy with a javelin on his back, it only shows the tube, but as soon as he pulls it out, the clue is automatically attached. So if you see a jav gunner out there looking around in circles, it's because he's using the clue to spot things with the thermal system that's in there. He's not actually firing a missile. Now, the Javelin missile system is the hardest hitting anti-tank weaponry that the infantry carries. It's incredibly unique in its sound as well as its armor engaging capability. When the Javelin fires off, you'll know it from well over a click away. The missile will the initiating engine will take the missile out of the tube a couple feet, and then the primary engine will fire on the missile. When that primary engine fires, that's really what you hear. And that thing will take off at a 45+ degree angle up into the air. And when it gets to its target, it will nose down and come down straight on top of the target, because the top plate in armor is almost always the weakest point. So the Jav will pretty much always be used on top-down fire mode. There is a direct fire mode, but it's generally used on top-down fire mode. And that Jav will take out pretty much any piece of armor with a single hit, all the way up to and including T-90. Some of the T-90 variants with special reactive armor and shit like that can give the Jav a hard time sometimes, but majority of the time, we can wipe out any piece of armor with a Javelin with a single hit. Now, the next thing we're going to cover, Talbot, question.
You mentioned that the laws and the laws is like a lighter weight version of the AT-4, and it sounds like the Carl Gustav is also kind of a lighter, like different weapon system, but is also packs less of a punch than the Javelin. Why are those two systems used?
Basically for weight and size. When you look at the Javelin, it is massive. The tube itself is huge, the clue is huge, and the rounds are fucking gigantic. Plus, they cost about 80 grand a piece. But the Javelin rounds are about twice the size of what a Maz round is. So our gunners, our AT gunners, can carry about twice the ammo from Maz as what they can the Javelin. So if we're not going up against super heavy armor with reactive armor and shit like that, we'll carry the Maz because we can carry more rounds, which means we can take more shots. Corporal Patty?
Thank you, Top. Gentlemen, the two missile systems that we use in this they are.
All right, sounds like we're losing Corporal Patty. So we'll come back to that. So next thing we're going to cover is hand-thrown munitions. First one of those being the M67 fragmentation grenade. Now, the M67 consists of a pre-fragmented steel body filled with 6.5 ounces of explosives, and it has a 3.2 to 4.2 second fuse. All right. Now, if you don't know how a grenade works, if you envision your stereotypical pineapple grenade or frag grenade, whatever, you have the body of the grenade, and you have the top of it. Now, the top houses the fuse, the pin, and the spoon. The spoon is that handle-looking thing that comes down off the top of it. That's called a spoon. When you pull that pin, it does absolutely nothing other than releasing the lock to the spoon. Your hand is still holding down the spoon if you're holding the fucking grenade properly. So you pull the pin. When you release that spoon, that's when the fuse starts burning. Again, M67 has a 3 to 4 second fuse. So when you release that spoon, you've got 3 to 4 seconds to get that fucking thing away from you. Actually, less than that, because you'd prefer to blow up away from you and not right in front of you. So when you hear someone refer to cooking a grenade, what they mean is you've pulled the pin, you've released the spoon, and you're letting that fuse cook so that it's got less time between when it hits the ground and when it explodes. Now, I can tell you this. cooking a grenade is really cool looking in Call of Duty. In real life, it's one of the most terrifying fucking things you will ever do. To know that you're carrying damn near half a pound of explosive in your hand and you're holding on to it while that fuse is burning. In real life, they tell you to count to 2 and throw that motherfucker as hard as you can. In actuality, you go 1, 2 and throw that fucker as hard as you possibly can. It is sure shit not a long 2 count. I can guarantee you that. So, understand that we try to emulate that here. We don't really cook frag grenades. Because again, it's fucking terrifying. And it's a good way to blow yourself up. So, you're not very often going to see guys cook grenades here. Now, the M67 has a kill radius of 15 meters and a fragmentation dispersal radius of up to 230 meters. So make damn sure when you throw one of these, you and all your fucking friends are well behind solid cover. Next one we're going to cover is the M84 flashbang, or the stun grenade as it's labeled in the arsenal. Now the M84 is a diversionary device, generally used for building and room clearing. It has a 1 to 2 second fuse on it, and upon detonation emits a blinding flash and a deafening bang, hence flashbang. Now, flashbangs, obviously nobody cooks because it's only a 1 to 2 second fuse. So when you throw that motherfucker, it's going to go off really goddamn quick. When it does go off, something to keep in mind. The ArmA AI does not exactly fucking play nice with us when it comes to flashbangs. Essentially, it won't do dick all unless the AI is actually looking at it, which is one of the dumbest fucking things video game developers have ever done, because they do it all the goddamn time in different games. And I can tell you, flashbangs will still fuck you up even if you're not looking at them. And because you run around the corner of a room and there's a wall between you and the flashbang, it does not mean you're perfectly fucking safe. Okay? That sound is legitimately deafening. Your shit will be ringing. In fact, your ears will probably bleed if you don't have any type of ear pro in. So, as I said, in ArmA, the AI don't give a fuck about flashbangs unless they're looking at it. So if you throw a flash into a room and the retarded AI is looking into the opposite corner and that thing goes off and you go to breach in, good chance he's still going to turn and shoot you. However, when they are looking at it and it works properly, they'll go into a weird clusterfucked animation for 10 to 15 seconds and you can shoot him in the face before he realizes what's going on. So they do work very goddamn well when the AI are looking at them. But do not hesitate to use your flashbangs. We carry them for a fucking reason. If you know an enemy is inside of a room, flash the motherfucker. Next, we have our M18 smoke grenades. Our M18s are a canister type grenade. Upon releasing the spoon, it will start emitting a large plume of colored smoke. Now, each color has different meanings or different uses. White and yellow smoke is used for concealment, right, to conceal movement and position. One important thing to understand when it comes to concealment smoke, say you chuck a yellow smoke out there because you're being engaged. When you throw that yellow smoke and it plumes, now you need to move. Smoke is not a fucking bulletproof cloud. And just because you threw smoke out there doesn't mean the enemy has to stop shooting at you. They still know where you were. They can still suppress into that area. And if you're dumb enough to stay in the same fucking position after that smoke dissipates, it's your own goddamn fault when you get shot in the face because they still know where you are. So again, if you throw smoke, once it plumes, fucking move. Otherwise, it's defeating the goddamn purpose. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right. Now to go into the different colors of smoke. First, we have green. Green smoke is used to mark friendly positions. And we have red smoke. Red is used to mark enemy positions. Do not ever throw red smoke on a friendly position. If If you do it by accident, make sure you radio it up your chain of command immediately. So if you accidentally throw a red smoke on your position, tell your team leader. Your team leader then has to tell your squad leader. Squad leader then has to tell platoon HQ. Platoon HQ then has to tell task force commander. Task force commander then has to tell all assets. Disregard red smoke. Reason being, if you don't tell anyone and you chuck that red smoke 50 meters out there to a friendly position, when the guys up in the air see red smoke, they start going into overdrive. Because if the enemy is close enough for us to throw red smoke on them, shit is bad. So they're going to start going to work. And if they go to work on our own fucking guys, it's a pretty big problem. Now, hopefully, command and control is in a position where that's not going to happen. But Murphy attacks when you least fucking expect it. Does anybody who know who Murphy is? No? Nobody knows Murphy? Murphy is Murphy's fucking law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And I promise you, he will kick you square in the nuts when you least expect it. So again, you pop smoke on a friendly position, you make sure you radio it up immediately. Next, we have blue smoke. Blue smoke is used to mark a broken chain of command. So if you see blue smoke, that means shit is bad. Stay the fuck away from it, unless you are very specifically ordered otherwise. Same goes for the next one, which is purple smoke. Purple smoke marks a mass casualty incident, or an MCI. Often, majority of the time you'll hear guys just call it a mass cas. Means a lot of guys are fucked up. Again, you see purple smoke, you stay the fuck away from it unless specifically ordered otherwise. And if you are responding to an MCI, your job first and foremost is to set up security, because medics need to go to work, and medics are the only ones that carry purple smoke. So if they pop purple, it's essentially them putting out a visual signal to every single 68 whiskey in the area, I need help here now. So again, you see purple smoke, stay away unless you're ordered over there. And if you're ordered over there, you're probably going to be setting up security, which means you set up 360-degree security around that area, and you shoot anything in the face that is not wearing a U.S. uniform. All right, does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
All right. Any questions on any of the different weapon systems that we have covered?
No, for Sergeant.
No, for Sergeant.
Negative.
No.
All right, outstanding. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to head out to the range and get you guys some time with the different weapon systems that we have covered. So first we're going to head to the grenade range, then we'll head over to the AT range, and then we'll head to the rifle range. But before we do that, been going at it for a minute now. I know myself, I need a fucking refreshment of coffee. So I'm going to give you guys 5 mics. Grab yourself something to drink, take a piss, fucking rub one out, whatever the hell it is you need to do. You've got 5 minutes to do it. Then we're going to get back at it. Your time starts now. All right, sound off from right to left, front to back when you're back.
Talbot's good to go. First line.
Coleman's ready to go.
Mason's good to go.
Marshall's green.
Market's good to go.
Reynolds green.
All right, outstanding. Everybody's here. So, why don't you guys use your scroll wheel, stand up, follow me outside. Get outside here, go ahead and step off the side and put your cover back on. All right, you guys are going to walk up to this red flagpole, look at it, use your scroll wheel, and hit space when you see weapons range complex. All right, follow me. Step it up to a jog. All right, go ahead and line yourselves up along these sandbags. All right. So, before I actually give you guys any weapon systems, we're going to go over some proper ways to handle grenades before I actually fucking give you guys any. Now, when you first load into a server and grab your gear, the most important thing for you to do once you grab your gear is to press the number 7 on your number row. That will switch you from your lethal to your non-lethal grenades. Because by default, you have lethal grenade selected, which means if you fuck up and press the G key as in golf, you will throw a frag grenade. And if you do that in the staging area, it will be very bad. And believe me when I tell you, it will be a whole lot worse for you than the guys you just threw a fucking frag grenade in. Now, should you, at any point in time, do that, or throw a frag anywhere where you do not want it to be, you will start yelling, "Bad frag," and run the fuck away for 2 seconds. Count 1, 2 while you're running, and then put your dick in the dirt. Grenades explode up and out, so get as low as you possibly can and hope it doesn't bite you in the ass. But again, as soon as you load into a server and grab your gear, press the number 7, and you'll have your smoke grenade selected. That way, at least if you accidentally throw a fucking smoke, or throw a grenade, it's a smoke grenade, which is a whole hell of a lot better than a frag grenade. Now, the next way we're going to help you stop from fragging yourself is if you press escape, go to configure, and go to controls. Once you're on that, go to configure add-ons. You'll see a drop-down box. When you click that drop-down box and go to ACE 3 weapons and click that. All right, so is everybody looking at ACE 3 weapons?
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right. About 3/4 of the way down that list, you're going to see something that says prepare, change, throwable. Does everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
I want you to click that and change the hotkey for it to G, golf. Now, it will be probably red because it's the same control as throwing a grenade normally. We're going to change that. Now, what this does is now when you press golf, instead of the normal grenade throw where it'll just automatically throw a grenade, it will pull up the ACE advanced throw, which will show you the arc of the grenade, as well as the fact that you'll now have to left click to throw a grenade. So using this process, you'll have to press G and then left click, and it'll throw a grenade. Makes it, 1, a hell of a lot more accurate for grenade throws, 2, a hell of a lot safer, because it makes it almost impossible to accidentally throw a grenade. All right, so does everybody have that changed to G?
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right. Now I want you to go back to configure base down at the bottom right there. Now once you're on configure base, up at the top, I want you to hit the scroll wheel and go to weapons. Once you're on weapons, about halfway down the list, you're going to see the part that says throw. It'll be right under toggle raise weapon and right above cycle throw items. It'll just say throw. Does everybody see that?
Yes, for Sergeant.
Yes, for Sergeant.
All right, I want you to click that and delete that hotkey. And once you have that hotkey deleted, then press OK down in the bottom right. Do not hit escape. Make sure you press OK. Once you are done with that, then you can escape out of that menu. Now, I want all of you guys to approach that Connex box in front of you and load a rifleman loadout. Once you have your rifleman loadout, get lined back up against sandbags.
For Sergeant, it won't let me load it in.
If it's gray, just click it and load it anyways.
It won't let me press load for Sergeant.
All right, then that means you have something in your loadout that is not supposed to be in your loadout, which means you did not listen to your fucking recruit instructor properly. Talbot, drop all your fucking gear right there in front of Coleman so he can pick it up and then reload your loadout. Why am I still seeing what looks like a compass or map tools laying on the ground?
I already have everything. Just recheck.
All right, Corporal Patty, if you would, try and make that shit disappear. All right. Now I want all of you to press I as in indigo. Open your inventory. You're going to see the magazine under your rifle on the bottom right. You're going to drag that magazine into your vest. Once you have done that, go ahead and press escape, exit out of your inventory, and lower your weapon. Reynolds, question.
Yes, Sir Sergeant. I keep encountering this error whenever I do that I don't gain a magazine in my backpack or in my vest. Is that a known glitch?
That's the first I have heard of it.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you have not already, go back into your inventory and stow your night vision in your backpack. It is 0924 hours. You do not need night vision. All right, so now you have your weapons conditioned, or condition 4. Generally, when someone tells you to condition your weapon, they're telling you to condition for it, taking the magazine out of it. Anytime we're in a training environment, you're going to condition your weapon so that you do not ND, negligently discharge. Now I want all of you to press the number 7. And you'll see that will select your smoke grenades. All right, stick with those. Stand by for a hot second. All right, everybody go ahead and turn around, face out at the range. Now, when we are throwing a grenade, first we'll go over frags. When you go to throw a frag grenade, once you press G and it's prepped, you are going to yell frag out. And then you are going to throw it. You say frag out before you actually throw the grenade. Do not say frag out when the fucking thing is already in the air. It kind of defeats the purpose. Frag out is letting everyone around you know that you have a frag going outbound. Okay? Do not just yell frag. If you yell frag, that is telling everyone there is an incoming frag grenade. Frag out lets us know it is outbound. Now we will do that for every grenade. So if it's a frag grenade, we say frag out. If it's a flash grenade, we say flash out. If it's a smoke, you can say smoke out. Majority of the time it's not really needed, but still you can. Again, to let guys know it is an outbound grenade. Now when someone throws a frag, what do you guys think your first course of action should be? Anybody?
Seek cover for sergeant.
Cover.
There you go. Get behind cover. So here, where is your cover?
Sandbags.
Sandbags. So if I were to throw a frag grenade right now, what should you do?
Hit the deck.
Hit the deck. Right? Put your dick in the dirt. So we're going to test that out. So, frag out. Perfect. All right, stand up. And no, I did not throw a frag. So, next thing I want you guys to do, hold shift and press K as in kilo. See that arrow pop up in the bottom left corner of your screen? You see that the way that smoke is moving once it's deployed? That arrow is a windage indicator. Tells you the direction and the strength of the wind. That allows you to judge where you need to throw your smoke. Now notice that smoke grenade plumes quite a fucking bit. So if you have a need for smoke to say cover this entire area here, if we were covering from that left bunker over to the right bunker. All right, and I'll throw another one for an example. So if I wanted to cover this entire fucking compound here from left bunker to right bunker, I know the wind is moving from left to right at a value of 3. So it's a pretty strong wind carrying the smoke from left to right. So I'm going to throw it over towards the left side there. So smoke out. Now notice the smoke plumes fairly quick, but not fucking immediately. So when you throw a smoke grenade, you have to wait for it to plume fully before you actually start moving. Otherwise, it kind of defeats the purpose. So notice with that one individual smoke grenade, I've given us concealment for almost the entirety of this area here, from that bunker to bunker. So when someone calls for smoke, Not everyone needs to throw a goddamn smoke grenade. You don't need 15 smoke grenades to cover a 50-meter wide area. All right, does everybody understand that?
Yes, with Sergeant.
All right. What we're going to do now is each one of you guys are actually going to throw a frag. All right? So I want you guys to press number 6 on your number row and switch to your lethal grenades. And we're going to go right down the line of you from left to right. Each guy will throw one frag. Do not forget to say frag out, and do not forget to take cover. All right, Reynolds, you're going first. Whenever you're ready.
Frag out.
All right, recover. Marshall.
Frag out.
Cover. Talbot.
Frag out.
Cover. Coleman.
Frag out.
Recover. Try to give it a little bit more time between when you say frag out and when you actually throw it. Mason.
Frag out.
Recover. Mock. All right, did anyone down here actually hear Mock?
Negative.
No, First Sergeant.
All right, so how did everybody know to get down?
I saw him throw.
We're watching him.
Because you were staring at him. What was the mistake?
He didn't yell, frag out.
Exactly. Make sure, 1, that you say frag out. 2, make sure you're on fucking yelling so that everyone around you can hear. All right. That wasn't too bad. But again, make sure you give it some time between when you actually say frag out and when you throw the grenade. Got to give guys around you time to get behind some fucking cover. All right, does anybody have any questions on the use of frag grenades?
Negative.
No, First Sergeant.
No, for Sergeant.
All right, I want everybody to hit the number 7 again on their number row so that you do not accidentally frag my ass. Last thing to point out, when you go to throw a grenade, when you press G and you see that little line pop up, if you use your scroll wheel, you can change it from a normal throw to a high throw. So, for instance, if you were to need to throw a grenade over this wall, just over the other side of it, you would use that scroll wheel and you would be able to chuck a grenade up and over the wall and have it land just on the other side. All right, now we're going to move over to the AT range so you guys can get some practice with the AT4. So follow me. All right, go ahead and line yourselves up along sandbags. All right. When using the AT4, there's a few different steps you're going to go through before you actually fire. And the first little bit actually has nothing to do with the guy actually firing the AT4 or the law for that matter. So the first part that's going to happen is the battle buddy of the guy carrying the AT4, which is generally going to be the grenadier. He's going to act as a spotter. So he is going to use his vectors, which actually you guys don't have, so stand by. All right, I want all of you guys to approach that set of boxes under the cargo nets, grab each of you a vector, and then return back to the sandbags. All right, so use your vector. Go ahead and press B on your keyboard, as in Bravo. Look downrange, don't fucking look at me. Now, the vector will provide you with a couple of different pieces of information. It can provide you with the range. It can also provide you with the bearing, right? Both those pieces of information key to using the AT4. So, to get the range of a target, if you put those crosshairs over a target and hold R as in Romeo until the red circle pops up, and then release R, it will then give you the range to the target. To get the bearing, if you put the crosshairs over a target and hold Tab, it will then give you the azimuth, or the bearing. Now you can get both of those at the same time. If you hold Tab and Romeo at the same time, and then release, it will pop up with the azimuth and the range. However, be sure not to confuse yourself which one is which, because if you call out the bearing as the range and the range as the bearing, it can really fuck up someone's shot. Corporal Patty.
Thank you, First Sergeant. Also, for if you end up becoming a missile team member, it is wise to understand that if you double tap R and hold it and release, it also gives you the elevation in which the target is sitting. So if you double tap R on any one of these trucks out here, you'll see there's like a -1, which means it's about like a foot lower than what your viewing distance or your viewing height is at. That is critical when firing from top of hills.
Yep, and factoring in elevation like that is something that's very, very important and takes a lot of practice with the AT4. Unfortunately, we don't have time to get into that much practice. So, those two key pieces of information, the range and the bearing, are 2/3 of what you need to actually engage a target. Final piece of information you need is a description of the target. Okay? So those three pieces of information are boiled down into what we call the 3Ds. Distance, direction, description. Very, very easy to remember. Distance, direction, description. 3Ds. All right? If you have a hard time remembering it, think of fucking Triple D. Show on Food Network, Guy Fieri, the fucking pineapple on his head. Triple D. Distance, direction, description. You give anyone those three things, they can find something and kill it. So, as a spotter for a rifleman, your job is to get those vectors and start feeding him ranges. If the target's moving, you need to constantly update that range for him. If it's stationary, then you just give him the range, the bearing, and the description of the target. Does not matter which order it is, but make sure you clarify which number is the range and which number is the bearing. All right? Don't just say 345 170. It doesn't say shit. It could be bearing 345 or range 345. All right? So make sure you call out the range and the bearing separately and denote which one is which. So once that spotter has given the shooter the range, and the bearing, and the description. Now it's on the shooter to prep the weapon system. Now, in order to do that, he should already have the AT-4 pulled off his back, and he'll press R as in Romeo. And that will release the sight and the handle to the AT-4. The handle that you're going to hold on to, essentially. So, looking through the sight of the AT-4 has a closed peep sight that you can open up by Control / I believe by default. That will open up the sight picture, so it's a little bit easier to see shit. Don't have to do it, but again, it does make it easier. So once he's aiming down the sight, he has the weapon prepped. He now needs to range the weapon. Now they range in 50-meter increments that go up and down by using page up and page down. So if the target is at 230 meters, you're going to need to range it to 200 and aim high, or range it to 250 and aim a little low. All right, it's entirely up to what you're comfortable with. Once the weapon is ranged, you still can't fire. Once the weapon is ranged, gunner will call that he has eyes on target, and then he'll give the command of clear back blast. Once he gives that command, everybody behind him is to get the fuck out of the way. Once he gives that, the spotter will then look behind him and check his back blast, and will give him one of two responses, either back blast clear or back blast not clear. Now, if he says back blast clear, then he's good to fire that AT-4. If you get the response of back blast clear, then you yell rocket, and then you fire. Just like with throwing a frag grenade, you wait a second. All right, so you say rocket, wait a second, and then hit the trigger. If you get the response of back blast not clear, then you would yell the command clear back blast once again. And then you will wait for your spotter to tell you if it's clear or not clear. However, if he says not clear, pretty much doesn't mean anything for us. Because if you give the command of clear back blast the second time, and they have still not moved out of the way, you are still clear to fire. The thing you have to understand is the armor that you're engaging is almost always going to be a much bigger threat than some jackass getting knocked over by a little bit of backblast. So again, if the first time you call clear backblast, if they call backblast not clear, do not fire yet. Yell clear backblast again. Then, after your spotter responds, you are clear to fire. Once you are clear to fire, you yell rocket, and then hit the trigger. All right, does anybody have any questions on the steps to firing an AT-4?
No, for Sergeant.
All right, so what you guys are going to do now is you're going to team up in pairs. One guy is going to fucking spot, one guy is going to shoot. I don't give a shit who teams up with who. Once you're ready, you are clear to begin engaging any targets you see downrange.
All right, I'll range for you first. Get your record out.
Okay, Marshall, I'll range.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll go.
I'm gonna switch to normal voice just so we don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it down to.
Don't point that at me, Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Give me a target.
Okay.
Okay. Range 100 meters.
Give me a target.
Bearings 124. Humvee.
100 meters, 124, 1 times gas. Your back blast.
Backblast clear.
Rocket.
Clear back pass.
Good hit.
Rocket.
Don't forget your earplugs. Don't forget your earplugs. Don't forget your
Yeah,
earplugs.
yeah. I already got him in.
Yeah, I forgot my earplugs. Alright, stand by.
Okay.
Alright, 1 times BTR bearing 134,
Do you have any press
700
controls?
meters. Eyes on.
Eyes on.
Alrighty. Wait one.
Okay, that's very far. I wonder if I'll hit.
Alright, we have.
Alright, just target, just target. Bearing 128.
Range 391 meters.
Range 547 meters. It's a little closer. 1 times BTR in the open. Eyes on.
Eyes on.
391
Okay.
Clear.
Clear black blast.
Black blast clear.
Rocket.
Just over it, brother.
Ah, damn.
That's solid hit.
Alright. Drop your tube.
Yeah.
Alright, now you just short.
No, I couldn't get the sights down either. It's actually put my earplugs in.
We actually hit the easiest target, I think. The 100 meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much did I miss by?
Corporal.
Damn.
See this
Give me a
rocket.
range to that large wheeled vehicle out there.
Yeah, I did. I think I aimed a little too low though.
Which one for sergeant? Or corporal.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Bearing 128. 1 times BTR 923 meters out.
Say again, distance.
Hell yeah.
923 meters.
Roger. Eyes on. Clear back blast.
Back blast clear.
I want to step forward a little, Marshal. Rocket.
Yeah, that's nice.
Alright,
Over.
rally on me.
Rally up.
Yeah.
Alright. Not bad. You guys actually all remember to take the fucking AT-4 off your back after you fired it, so good job. Corporal Patty, if you would, real quick, grab me a Jav.
Affirm.
Shit, actually, hold on, it's not going to be in there. Alright. So, again, that wasn't bad. You guys didn't fuck up anywhere there. What you heard right at the end there, anybody hear that very distinctive ping sound?
No for certain.
Yes, for certain.
Nope. A distinctive ping sound is the sound of the Moz firing. It's something you will very quickly learn to recognize because you can hear that thing from a long fucking ways off. When you hear that ping, you know that's a Moz rocket flying. When you hear a Moz rocket flying, generally means a piece of armor is about to die. But not so much so as when you hear what Corporal Patty is carrying go off. Corporal Patty, go ahead and step up there and give us a Jav round downrange.
Clear back blast.
Back blast clear.
Rocket.
All right. Did everybody hear that clearly?
Yes, for
Yes, for sergeant.
All right. So that is what a javelin sounds like when it goes off. As I said, very distinctive sound. Something you will learn to recognize to armor dying. When you hear one of those things go off, something's about to be dead. All right. Any questions on the AT that we have covered?
No for certain.
No for sergeant.
No for sergeant.
All right. And what we're going to do next is head over to the rifle range. I wish we could sit out here all fucking day firing rockets, but we don't have time for it. So follow me. All right, so now we're going to cover some different rates of fire for the rifles that we use. First one we're going to cover is the M4. So, with the M4, with all of them, there are 3 rates of fire: sustained, rapid, and cyclic. All right. Now, a sustained rate of fire with the M4 consists of a single round every 2 to 3 seconds. So, for example, a sustained rate of fire with the M4 is going to sound something like this. That is used for targets beyond 250 meters that you're accurately engaging. Now, a rapid rate of fire is essentially doubling that. So it's 2 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. That is used for targets that are in closer than 250 meters. That's generally where you're going to hear guys refer to a double tap. All right, put 2 rounds in their chest. So rapid rate of fire sounds something like this. Now, a cyclic rate of fire, despite what you may think, is not flipping it to full auto and simply holding down the trigger. Right? It's incredibly inaccurate to just fire full fucking auto with the M4. So a cyclic rate of fire is, again, basically doubling a rapid rate of fire. So you're going to fire a burst of 3 to 5 rounds. This is
User
used
in
for
your
danger
channel
close
timed
enemies,
out.
guys 50 meters and closer. So a cyclic rate of fire for the M4 sounds something like this. However, as you can imagine, 30 rounds don't last very long when you're doing burst fire like that. Ammo conservation is something that we have to always keep in mind.
User entered
Right.
your channel.
When we're out there in the field, our operations generally last anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. We could be heavily engaged for the entirety of that time. And we are never guaranteed a resupply. Our resupplies come in via helo. If the AO is too hot and we can't get a helo in there, we don't get a resupply. So if you go out there with 12 mags of 5.56, you got to make that 12 magazines last the entire time. Now, granted, yes, if you run a little low, somebody else that's got more can pass you a magazine, so on and so forth, but ammo conservation needs to always be in the back of your mind. Same goes for the next weapon system we're going to cover, which is the SAW, which Corporal Patty is carrying right now. Now, the SAW, as we said earlier, you only fire it in bursts. So a sustained rate of fire for the SAW consists of a 3 to 5 round burst every 2 to 3 seconds. All right. Now, there's an easy way to achieve that 3 to 5 round burst. That is, when you hit the trigger, say a phrase inside your head. That phrase is "die motherfucker die," in that same cadence. You say "die motherfucker die," you get 3 to 5 rounds in that couple, and then you pause for a couple of seconds, and then do it again. But please say the phrase in your head, because if you say it out loud, you sound like a fucking psycho. All right. So, Corporal Patty, quick example of a sustained rate of fire with the SAW, please. All right. Now, a rapid rate of fire consists of essentially, again, doubling it. So 5 to 10 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds. So, Corporal Patty, rapid rate of fire, please. Now, a cyclic rate of fire, again, essentially doubling it, you're firing 10 to 15 rounds every 2 to 3 seconds, which is an incredibly high rate of fire to maintain, especially when you have ammo conservation in mind. So a cyclic rate of fire, not used very often, again, generally only when guys are right fucking on top of you. So Corporal Patty, quick example of a cyclic rate of fire with the SAW. Alright, ceasefire. Now, the thing to keep in mind here, alright, was sustained, rapid, cyclic rates of fire. These examples have been given to you with a single weapon system firing. You have to remember that oftentimes when you're engaging a target, you're not going to be the only person engaging it. In fact, you should never be the only person engaging a target. We do not fight fair. Anytime that we can put more rifles on target, the better. If there's one guy standing out there with an AK-47, I want 5 M4s shooting him. If there's 2 guys out there with PK machine guns, I want 10 guys shooting at them. Anytime we can put more rounds on target, the better. So, if you take an entire rifle squad, for example, consisting of 10 guys, that's 8 M4s and 2 saws, have all of them line up in a skirmish line. That's a horizontal line, shoulder to shoulder, and all of them do a sustained rate of fire. That is a literal wall of lead flying downrange. You have to remember that when you're engaging a target. If you have more than one guy engaging a target, as you should, you do not need to maintain a high rate of fire, because you are essentially combining your rounds together. So if the two of you, if you have 2 M4s engaging a single guy at a sustained rate of fire, then you're essentially putting a rapid rate of fire downrange. Now this comes into play with one of the techniques that machine gunners use, as well as saw gunners. That technique is known as talking guns. Talking guns is a way to double a rate of fire while consuming less ammo. So, if you have 2 saw gunners or 2 machine gunners set up in a skirmish line fairly close to each other, what they'll do is they'll both do a sustained rate of fire, and when one gun is pausing, the other gun is firing. So, you would have gun on the left fire his 3 to 5 round burst. While he pauses, the gun on the right fires his 3 to 5 round burst. While he pauses, the gun on the left fires again. Very, very simple. Now the left gun, or whichever gun fires first, is most likely going to run empty first. When he goes to reload, then the other gun needs to pick up his rate of fire to make up for that gun being down. Once that first gun is back up, he'll increase his rate of fire because the other guy now needs to reload. He's going to reload his weapon. Once his gun is up, they fall back to a sustained rate of fire. Very, very simple. All right, is everybody tracking on that?
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Sergeant.
All right. Anybody have any questions about the rates of fire?
No, for sure.
No, First Sergeant.
No, First Sergeant.
All right. What we're going to do now, I'm going to give you guys about 10 mics of range. Get up here, fire any of the different weapon systems that we use, and I'll get you, hold on, I'll get you a box over here real quick. All right. That Connex box down there has all the different rifles that we use. You guys are clear to try out any one of them. I don't give a shit. You can fire any one of them all you want. However, practice your rates of fire. Do not go all fucking gung-ho with the goddamn saw just because it's got a 200 round box on it. Practice your rates of fire. Use any one of the rifles that are in that box. Do not fire a fucking thumper or any other type of HE on my goddamn rifle range. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
All right. Each one of you guys go ahead and take a bay. Well, you'll have to double up a little bit, but each one of you take a bay. Use any different weapon systems you want. Range is hot.
Got it.
I'll be your battle buddy. Canadian, eh?
Very good.
It should be deployed, Corporal. Is it not showing as deployed on yours? Is it deployed now? Copy.
I think I'm on good for fun.
Hey, Corporal.
Sorry.
Could I try out the Mark 11?
Say again.
Could I try the Mark 11?
I can't even tell
Mark
you where
11.
rounds are landing.
Am I cleared
Did
for
you
that?
say you wanted to try the Mark 11?
A-firm, am I cleared for that? Or?
If it's in the box, you're welcome to try it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's effective at that range.
All right, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. Condition your weapons and then rally down here on me. Coleman, condition your weapon.
Give me a second, I can't hear shit.
Private Coleman, pull the magazine out of your gun.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. My ears are ringing.
All right, well, hopefully you've all learned earplugs are a good idea when you're firing weapons. All right, so does everybody feel they have a general idea of how to handle the different rifles that we use?
Yes, sir.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. As you guys getting all giddy about the Mark 11, don't get any fucking ideas because there's only one DM per platoon and you got to be a PFC to be it. So don't get any fucking happy thoughts. Does anybody have any questions about the different rifles that you have fired today?
No, First Sergeant.
No, First Sergeant.
No,
First
First Sergeant.
Sergeant.
No, First Sergeant.
All right. Anybody have any questions about anything that we have covered up to this point?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Who is yes?
Reynolds.
Send it.
For the Maws, what was the maximum effective range? I missed that in the notes.
900 meters.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. And this is where we're going to wrap it up today, gentlemen. Tomorrow, it only gets harder and continues to get harder each day after. Now, I can tell you this. I have a reputation in this unit as being an asshole. That reputation is 100% true. I will start busting you guys harder and harder every time you fuck up. My job here is not to be your friend. I am not here to coddle fuck you, and my name is not Willy Wonka. I do not sugarcoat shit. So from today on, it's going to get a lot more fucking difficult. Because the simple fact of the matter is, I am in charge of all training here. So I'm responsible for you guys. So when you get to your final billet in a fire team or wherever, should you fuck up and get your entire team killed, that's on me. And it's unfucking acceptable. So when you guys screw up and I bust your balls on it, do not take it personally. There is nothing personal involved in it. I give exactly 0 fucks about your feelings or your opinions. It is purely about getting the job done. And the job is to train you so that you don't fuck up. So when you make a mistake, and I point it out, it is not to make you feel bad or look like an idiot. It is so that you are aware of the mistake and you do not make it again. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. Then again, that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow we're going to be back at it. Same time, same place. Make sure you are on time. Don't know what it means to be on time in the Army? It means you're 15 minutes early. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're fucking late. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. And that's it for today. You're all dismissed. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. Fuck out of here.
Quick question for Sergeant.
Who is quick question?
Reynolds.
Send it.
For classes 3 and 4, I know a couple of guys were talking before we started up today. It's going to be on like Christmas and New Year's weekends. I know I won't be in attendance, or will be able to attend. Are there going to be classes for 3 and 4 later on, or will we just have to jump into another OSUT class?
You'll have to jump in the next cycle, but there will be more classes, yes.
Okay, so you will be hosting classes on the weekends before and after Christmas.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, I'll miss those then.
All right. And very quickly to mention, as I forgot, if at any point in time you guys have a question, comment, concern, whatever, I am now your direct fucking chain of command. So if you have an issue, you come to me and me only. If for some reason I do not respond to you within 48 hours, you can then go to my assistant instructor, Sergeant Myers, who is not here today. But I can tell you now, you go to Sergeant Myers, first thing he's going to ask you is, did you go to the first sergeant? If your response is no, he's going to tell you to fuck off. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
All right. Also, you guys are welcome to take part in any trainings that are going on. That being said, the unit is in winter stand down, so no trainings are required. So not exactly guaranteed that you're going to catch squad trainings or shit like that you can fill in for. But if you do see someone in TeamSpeak calling for fill-ins for training, you guys are allowed to fill in for those. Corporal Patty?
Thank you, Top. Did your recruit trainer tell you the rhyme about Captain Drumheller?
No, Corporal.
No.
No.
Do not pester the jester. Your COC does not get back to you in 48 hours, and Sergeant Myers does not get back to you for whatever reason. Do not, under any circumstance, contact Captain Drumheller.
Yes, as Corporal Patty said, you don't go to the company CO if you have a fucking problem. And I don't care if you're contacting them to say, dude, I love your vids. One, it's fucking creepy. Two, we don't care. We all know he makes YouTube videos. Marshall, question.
Yeah, this is a question on trainings. Do we get PP for fill-ins or not yet?
Nope. You get points and taking all that shit once you're actually a PV2.
Thank you for starting.
All right. And now that's it. You guys are dismissed. Fuck out of here.
User left your
hey,
channel.
First Sergeant, can you kind of help me out with my loadouts? For some reason I can't load in, except for my saw.
User left your channel.
He's not here anymore, man.
What? I need to get my loadouts fixed. Fuck. Oh yeah, no. Like, it's like I can load into my saw when I was a rifleman, but for some reason I like it.
If you're relying on the document, don't, because it's ridiculously outdated. I made my whole thing for like every class before recruit training, and they were like, yeah, this shit's all fucked because the OSUT and recruit training documents are like terribly out of date, so don't rely on those.
Yeah, no, like I listened to my the recruit instructor, like how to make up the loadout. I listened to everything he said, and some reason my loadout still wouldn't work. So it's like, oh, okay.
Well, what you can do is just hop in a
User left your channel.
If you hop in a server with someone, you can just have them strip all their shit. You can grab all their shit like exactly, and then just go into the arsenal and save it. And
User
then
joined
you
your
won't have a
channel.
problem.
Yeah, that's what I did when one of you guys gave me their loadouts. I saved it and I tried to go back to it, but it wouldn't work.
You might have something wrong with your mods, and then your folders might be like associated wrong or something. I don't really know, but yeah, I guess should have asked Corporal Patty because he'd have been probably the person to talk to there. He's our assistant.
Yeah.
Is that the grayed out issue?
Yeah, like I can load into the basic uniform of the training.
You have that means you have something in your loadout that's no bueno.
I don't know. The fucking I told he to what Melis, I think that was the recruit trainer I got. He told me to put all that shit in, so I'm like, okay, I'll just do what he's been telling me. So
Did you do it in an official server or did you do it in Arsenal?
It was Arsenal we went into to do it.
There. Yeah. Well, was it the official server and then Arsenal, or did you do it?
Yeah,
from
we went.
Arsenal?
Yeah, the server we were on, I did it on. We did it there. Went to the Arsenal. We created our infant, like rifleman, saw guy, fucking whatever.